the Seattle District Manager at AGC. If you don't know me, if we haven't interacted, I do encourage you to reach out by phone or email so that we can get you integrated with the one that I can get to know you, and also to see what we can do to help you get integrated into our district and into the chapter and see what kind of opportunities you might be missing. So we want to be there and help you. So we want to first go through a bit of ground rules. I know you've all been on so many virtual calls, and this is our second one of the season, but we have had many, and it's all pretty much the same, except that we are a smaller group. So if you can keep your camera on, that would be really great. Just helps a little bit of the interaction. The more we can have our cameras on, the better. Keep your microphone muted to keep down on some of the background noise as the presentations happen, but feel free to use your raise hand a function, or to type a question into the chat box. If you have a question, there will be Q&A at the end of our featured presentation by Sound Transit. And then also just give you a 2-minute heads up, because we're going to be talking about it in very short order, but I do want to open up the meeting for anyone who would like to take a minute to introduce themselves, and all I ask is that you turn your camera on, raise your hand, and I will call on you, and we can have a little bit of member interaction here on this phone call, video call. So we can go ahead and advance the slide, Stacy. First, I want to recognize our AGC executive staff and officers that are on the call today. Dave DeHunt is here with us, and if you have any questions for Dave, go ahead and type it in. And we also have Grace Pizzi, our Secretary Treasurer. And Grace, I don't know if you have your camera available to put your camera on, but if you do and would like to say hello, why don't you pop in the next segment on our member introductions. So let's go ahead and advance the slide. We've had several new members since the last time we met, and they're all here. I do want to just invite anyone who doesn't know these companies or would like to go ahead and send me an email. You all have my email, but it's sforster@agcwa.com. And I would love to make some introductions and get you to know these new folks that are coming into and under the umbrella of AGC. I can be definitely mutually beneficial to get some of that working going, and want to make sure that you get to know these folks. So now I would like to just let it open things up to anyone who would like to introduce themselves, give a 1-minute introduction, and I'm going to go and see who's got the raised hands. Stacy, can you see? I see. So
we have Sherry.
Oh, okay. There we go. And can you back up one slide?
Yeah.
Great. So Sherry, go ahead.
Well, good morning, everyone. Hopefully some members have gotten to know me a little bit. I tried to go to every meeting last year, and it's really an experience doing this online, but I'm really glad to see you all. My name is Sherry Harris, and I'm with ErgoSync Engineering. We are an electrical engineering and systems engineering design firm. We're located in downtown Seattle when we actually go to our offices. And we've been in business for about 15 years here and work primarily on sound transit projects. So we're really looking forward to hearing this presentation today. Really looking forward to connecting with all of you in person in the future.
Great, thank you, Sherry.
And we have Bill Maybush.
Good morning, Bill Maybush with the Walsh Group. We're a general contractor here in the Seattle region. I'm also a chair of the Programs and Events Committee, and this is what we do: is we put together these breakfast meetings as well as some other social events. The Walsh Group has 2 divisions here. We have a building group and we have a civil group, and we're looking forward to today's presentation because our civil group is currently working with Sound Transit. So nice to see everybody.
It's wonderful. Anybody else on the call who would like to just raise their hand and say hello to everyone? Oh, Ryan Clayton.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Just a quick introduction. My name is Ryan Clayton. I work with Skanska USA Civil. I've been with the company 19 years, going on 20. A vast majority of those spent actually in our East Coast, New York City area office. And about a year ago, actually, almost to the day, company sent me out here to take a look and oversee our operations up in the Pacific Northwest, with a heavy focus in the Seattle metropolitan area. So grateful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Welcome, Ryan. All right, any last takers? Okay, let's move on to our featured associate segment. Our featured associate today is Yu-Hee from Milwaukee Tools. Yu has a nice presentation for you to introduce their business and his role in the Pacific Northwest. So I will let him do the bulk of his introduction, and I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks so much, Sonia. And hi, everyone. It's nice to be able to talk to you guys through this vessel, through AGC, and I appreciate being able to that is being spotlighted today. My name is Yu-Hee from Milwaukee Electric Tool. I've been with Milwaukee for about 4 years now, and I'm currently the territory manager that looks over our general contractors and concrete contractors specifically, but we still have roughly about 15 other Milwaukee Tool representatives working throughout the Pacific Northwest, in Oregon, Seattle, Idaho, Wyoming, and they cover different areas of our company. Some of the things that I wanted to kind of go over with you guys today is really just what Milwaukee has done throughout this past year and also in the previous years to really innovate as far as tools go within the industry. If you guys have any questions or want to reach out to me about specific products or anything like that, feel free to shoot me a line. My contact info is just right there on the bottom of the screen. You can go ahead and advance the screen for the next slide, please. So Milwaukee Tool initially started back in the early 1900s, making its name with the Sawzall. And since then, it has transitioned into the cordless industry of power tools. And what we've been trying to do over the past decade is really provide innovative solutions as far as tools go, but also provide tools that are more ergonomic, that are safer, that will make our users more productive and more profitable. Go ahead and advance to the next slide, please. Some of the ways that we've been able to really do this is through our partnerships, our solutions, the events that we host every year, and also our focus on continuous education and training within our company internally and also externally as well. A lot of our partnerships are nationally that we have now are with AGC nationally, and we have Milwaukee representatives that are part of AGC in every single city now throughout the United States. We also have partnerships with other associations too, such as NECA, MCAA, and SMACNA. And we host a wide variety of health and safety events across the country. Normally we do them in person, but since COVID, we had to pivot a little bit, and a lot of it has become web-based. We normally host health and safety summits over at our corporate office, and have people come over quite a bit to visit and to see what we've been up to in our headquarters. And then for education and training, all of our Milwaukee Tool representatives on the Milwaukee side of our company, they are OSHA 30 certified, and they are out there at training centers and other educational centers to help provide training on dust silicosis, on ergonomics, on just a plethora of different safety-related topics that we've been asked to help present to students as well. Go ahead and advance to the next slide, please. So when MILWAUKEE Tool tries to come out with a new product in general, one thing that we really try to do is to adhere and try to align our product offering according to controls and see where we can be the best solution as far as either eliminating injuries out in the field all the way down to providing that last line of defense for our users out there, right? So over this past year, we launched our PPE line that has not seen a lot of innovation before, and that's where we kind of stepped in and try to think, okay, how can we do this better? We also have a number of tools where we have engineering controls in there to help make the operation of the tool a lot safer. Substitution tools where we're replacing the tools with a less hazardous product that creates less damage overall through sound or vibration. And then other tools where we've completely eliminated the risk of the risk of injury at all. Go ahead and advance to the next slide, please. And again, what we're trying to do is really try to eliminate, reduce, and prevent these main 7 pillars of safety that we try to adhere to when we come out with product lines. So we have a whole product line dedicated to dust, a whole product line dedicated to vibration and noise reduction, ergonomics. We have our whole ergonomics division where we test what is the best way and the best posture for our users to hold these tools while they're doing that specific task, as well as the built-in safety technology to prevent acute injuries with our rapid stop tools. We have a huge range of lighting and lighting solutions to provide more visibility and to reduce trips on the job site, as well as tools that we launched this year called MX Fuel, which we'll talk about a little later, that completely reduce the emissions caused by gas products. And as things are transitioning from fossil fuels over to battery operated technology, we're trying to be in the forefront of this, and thus the reason why we created a MX Fuel platform to power light duty equipment. And then our PPE line really wraps everything up as far as preventing acute injuries and providing that personal safety for our users. And what we're really trying to do is drive a safer job site from start to finish. Go ahead and advance to the next slide, please. Another exciting thing that we've been working on over the past 3 years since I've been with MILWAUKEE Tool is constantly updating our tool management and inventory management tracking software. We call it MILWAUKEE One Key. This platform is completely free to our users to use. And what it is essentially an asset management software that works on your phone, laptop, tablet. And we have tools that work along with this software that are able to be tracked, managed, customized, where you can also pull reports, download Excel sheets, give permissions to specific users. It's a really great free system that we have for our end users to take advantage of that really can help reduce the amount of tools lost and create a better visibility for those that are managing the tools and equipment to be able to see where it's at and keep track of what they have and what they don't have, what's lost, what's stolen. Go ahead and move on to the next slide, please. This software, like I said, is completely free. And over this past year, we've really built some really great features in there. One thing that we added on there is our ability to create a geofence around your job site. So now when you create a job and load these tools up into the software, you can assign those specific tools and equipment into a specific job site. And then if that tool or equipment is seen outside of it, it'll give you a notification that it is not on the premises anymore. It provides access to real-time data anywhere to any of its users and who have permission to see the information. And it gives you a way to organize your inventory through different breakdowns, through seeing what product category it is, divisions, the people that have it, vehicles, a bunch of different columns on an Excel sheet that you can download to be able to really see the data and have higher visibility of what equipment and tools you have on the job site. And it really just helps streamline the operations process for small tools and larger equipment as well. And then last thing is that I wanted to talk about really is just MX Fuel. This year we created 6 solutions to be able to launch this year, from our power supply, our core drill that's a lot safer, and to our cutoff saw and breaker, as well as our enormous tower light as well. Go ahead and advance to the last slide, please. Oh, there's 2 more slides, sorry. And then the other thing that I wanted to present to you guys really is talk about is our service. We have the industry's best coverage when it comes to servicing our tools and batteries. Our tools have a 5-year tool warranty, as well as our batteries are covered for 3 years, including any water damage that happens to them as well. And it's a super simple process. If you'd like to learn more about any of the things that I talked about, please feel free to drop me a line or shoot me an email. My contact info is right here. And I look forward to seeing you guys and working with you guys more in person as the days go by. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we're just going to move on to our feature presentation. We are always excited to have Matthew Preedy here from Sound Transit to give us an outlook on current and future projects, especially given this extraordinary year. We're very appreciative to Matt and his team for devoting time and energy to a partnership with AGC by staffing our AGC Sound Transit Best Practices Committee. This coordination that comes from this partnership helps both the contractor and the agency continually improve performance and safety. Members who are interested in participating can email me, and I will make sure you are invited to our next quarterly meeting. Matt Preedy has been delivering highway and transit public works projects in the Pacific Puget Sound region for over 28 years. While working for WSDOT, he served as the construction director and deputy administrator for the SR 99 Alaskan Way Tunnel project. Currently, he heads the construction management division of Sound Transit, involved in delivering multiple light rail, commuter rail, and bus rapid transit projects exceeding $65 billion across all phases. Matt, thank you for being here, and I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you, Sonia. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome, and can you see my intro slide? Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for having me here. Always a pleasure to talk to our contracting partners. Hang on a second. There it goes. What we're going to run through today, provide you a quick update on our current jobs, some updates on our upcoming jobs, our response to the COVID-19 pandemic, and of course highlighting ST values in all that we do. So our values are collaboration, customer focus, inclusion and respect, safety, of course, integrity, and quality. I presented these before. I highlight these at every presentation that I do. We hold ourselves to these values, and we would expect, of course, our consultants and our contractors to hold themselves to these same values as well. If you're working for us, you're an extension of ST. Quick safety moment, of course. I wanted to thank all of our contractors for participating in AGC's Construction Safety Week, September 14th through the 18th. Of course, I found it a little bit ironic. That was the exact same week that we had what I call hazardous air quality due to wildfire smoke week. Contractors, of course, show their usual resiliency and adapted, postponing some activities until the next week, but not canceling, of course, the very important safety week. So we thank our contractors for powering through a safety week and under very difficult circumstances. So I'd like to just run through real quickly what Sound Transit has done in response to the COVID-19. This is a brief timeline of events. Back in February of this year, Governor issued a state of emergency due to COVID-19. We were pretty much business as usual at that time. We got into March, additional directives came out implementing social distancing. Our construction was still going on, but we were asking our contractors to submit updated safety plans. Then, of course, on March 23rd, the governor issued the Stay Home, Stay Healthy Order 20-25. Sound Transit Public Work was exempt from that. We were allowed to continue to work. However, at that time, we realized that we didn't really understand as an owner and with the industry as well what the best practices really were. And we were concerned about not being able to keep the workforce safe. And so through the month of April, we did issue a stop work order for the month of April so that we could allow our contractors to incorporate all best practices, update their health and safety plans, work plans, get their workers trained and go back to work, and therefore minimize the risk of COVID transmission in the work zone. During the work suspension period, of course, we had to secure the work sites. 80% of the work was suspended during that time. Only essential work and work that was subject to specific windows that couldn't be moved was ongoing. During that time, of course, worker training was very important. You can see some training there in the office, some training out into the field, everyone trying to wear their PPE and staying 6 feet apart. After the month of April, we allowed the stop work order to expire. Work ramped up again on May 4th with updated safety plans. Criteria was derived from DOSH, L&I, and the CDC. New PPE, intensive training, sanitation stations and protocols on the work site, some of which you can see here. Temperature screening, attendance for contract tracing, all of that is still in play on ST Jobs. And of course, revised meeting protocols, cleaning high-touch surface areas like you see on the right. This, of course, was an excellent example of collaboration across the board, all the way from the governor's council, including the contractors, labor, local jurisdictions, and peer agencies across the country, trying to understand best practices so that we could have a unified approach and ensure safety for all. A few challenges that we're seeing still, of course, culture change has been achieved from what we can see. Face mask fogging still an issue, especially going into the colder months. I would ask all contractors to recognize and avoid complacency, especially in the field office. We've demonstrated the ability to not have COVID transmitting in the work zone, and that is key to being able to continue to advance our construction jobs. Of course, COVID didn't just affect the workforce. Our ridership went down dramatically over the course of March to April. Sound Transit began studying ways to keep our riders safe. Goals were to achieve 100% passenger employee face covering compliance, increase cleaning protocols on our conveyances, increase public information, and even go to the steps of weekly mask distributions and updating and increasing airflow and filtration on our vehicles. September 2020, we began ramping our service back up again because the demand is starting to increase. And we even offer free masks. If you don't have a mask, that's fine. We'll give you one. It's important that we keep not only the workforce safe, but we take all steps we can to keep our passengers safe as well. All right, so moving on to some updates from our current capital program. Many of you have seen this graphic before. Our current service is a fairly modest single light rail line going from just south of the airport all the way up to Husky Stadium. Sounder commuter rail line going from DuPont all the way up to Everett. And our ST regional bus routes. Once our system expansion program is built out, 116 miles of link light rail, 83 stations, and brand new bus system called Stride, and expansion of over 40% in our Sounder commuter rail system. So our construction is going on right now. Every day we have about 2,000 construction trade workers on the job across the program. We have 152 new light rail vehicles under procurement, 40 miles of light rail under construction, over $15 billion worth of active construction jobs across all phases, 9 major project alignments, 8 track bridges on I-90. Project expenditures right now are running about 94% of planned as of August, which is great. And of course, we are One Sound Transit. We've had months that we're exceeding about $200 million of construction expenditure each month, so it's a very busy time. Highlighting a few of our jobs: Operation and Maintenance Facilities East. This project is trending well, 93% complete, on schedule for completion in 2020 of this year. So by this time next year, this project will be 100% done. I would like to congratulate Hensel Phelps for delivering this critical design build job for us, and KBA and Associates as our construction management consulting team. Here's one quick shot of the interior of the building. Public can't see this yet, but you can see that it's primarily built out. We have had a few last minute revisions on the facility, trying to accommodate both types of fleet that are under procurement, because we have 2 different types of cars. So we're making some last minute modifications inside, and then we should be good to go. Upcoming milestone certificates of occupancy for both the OMF and the maintenance of way buildings, as well as testing of the light rail vehicles in the facility. Little known job, we do have our light rail vehicle fleet expansion going on too. This is a $740 million procurement, 30% complete, 22 vehicles delivered so far, 25 ready to ship, and we're starting to burn those in at the new facility. Moving on to Northgate Link Extension. This one, of course, will be open to revenue service by September 2021, so that'll be a huge milestone for us. It's 96.1% complete. And key issues right now, of course, are safe execution of the remaining work, a lot of high rail work going on, and a lot of high voltage electrical work going on. Safety is paramount during this final stage as we work to bring this online. I'd like to give special thanks to the designer of record for Northgate Link. That's McMillan Jacobs and Associates, prime contractors Walsh, JCM, Absher, Hoffman, Stacy Widbeck, Mass Electric, many others, our CMC, North Star. Without all your help, we would not have been able to successfully get to where we are now. Give you a little bit of a sneak peek into the interior of our underground stations. This is our N140 project, U District Station. As you can see, nearly complete, substantial completion earlier this year. O&M manual is 86% approved, and training is 100% achieved for this facility. N150 Roosevelt Station just up the way. This project also has substantial completion. A little behind on the O&Ms. Training is 100% complete on this facility as well. And last but not least, on Northgate Link, we have our Northgate station at Northgate Mall. Substantial completion is pending any day now. Just one little fire alarm test that's supposed to happen this week. And this Absher contract should be substantially complete, so fingers crossed. Most of our projects now have a TOD site, a transit-oriented development site element to them. Here's a shot of the Roosevelt Station TOD site. That was our staging yard that is now being converted to build out, as you can see there. Our U District Station has a TOD element as well. You can see the head houses on the I wonder if you can see my cursor. So there's a head house there, and then right in between it, there's an overbuild TOD that goes right over the top of the station. And that TOD will be starting up soon. Okay, that was Northgate Link. Moving on to Hilltop Tacoma Link extension. This project, 62% complete, opens for revenue service May 2022. This is a very difficult at-grade alignment construction. Walsh is our contractor. And so you go to the next one. There we go. This is what I like to call a utility relocation job with some track on top, which is really what it has been. As you can imagine, in a 100-year-old, 200-year-old urban area, we don't always know what's underground, but the team has been continually working through those issues, progressing this job, and we are on track to open this thing up in 2022. This also has a OMF building. It's been expanded, as you can see in the background there, and an expanded storage track yard, which is in the foreground. And that facility is going to be turned over to ST sooner than the rest of the job. So that's looking really good. Little known job, we have a Puyallup station parking and access improvement project on the Sounder line. We're about 10% complete on that design build job. And that project will be opening in 2022. Eastlink extension. This is our first branch line off the link system, scheduled for opening in June 2023. It is 85% complete. Project milestones, we do have substantial completion of our first contract, and that's the downtown Bellevue tunnel. We did have a highlight beginning of this year, and that was our completion of our Connect 2020 program, where we did tie in the branch line into the main line during a period where it would be least disruptive to the commuters. I'd like to now take a quick opportunity, see if I can get this to play. Is the sound coming through on this? Excellent. So this is a public information piece that we put together that is available on our website, highlighting the extensive effort that it took to tie in this branch line. Every employee at ST was encouraged to volunteer for 5 different ambassadorships. So while this work was going on, we were single tracking in the downtown tunnel. And I found it very rewarding, being able to stand out there, give assistance to the customers. You can see some ambassadors there on the screen, helping people find confused, making sure they can get to where they're going, answer questions, what the cost. Just sort of presence out there. We do a lot of each day, but just enthusiasm and understanding of the patients from the traveling public, and our ability to network with them was very rewarding. Let's see. Okay, moving on to Eastlink, quick Eastlink tour. Now we did have little deal earlier this year where the E-130 floating bridge contract was featured on the Impossible Engineering episode, the Seattle Super Bridge. Hopefully folks got a chance to catch that. Quick station tour of Eastlink. Our first station is the E-130 Judkins Park station over MLK. You can see that in stage of partial completion. Moving a little further to the east, there is the Mercer Island station right in the middle. This project looks almost done. You know, there's a little candle cone, honey bucket sticking up behind the wall. Still quite a bit of work left to do on the station, of course, but it is by and large complete on the exteriors. Our next station is South Bellevue, right off of Bellevue Way, north of I-90. This station features our largest parking garage in the system that you can see off to the right. You can see the dual ramps, by far our largest parking facility in the network. Currently, the flat work is starting to go in around the station. Artwork's starting to go up. So good progress being made on that facility. Okay, so Eastlink's E330 Bellevue Tunnel achieved substantial completion earlier this year. As I mentioned, that's our first Eastlink project to achieve that milestone. What you see there is the portal on the south side. Here is a bird's eye view of the portal on the north side, looking down from City Hall, of course, where we have plenty of inspectors from the city being able to look right down into our work site. That's always nice to have. And then looking into the tunnel on the right-hand side of the slide there. Not only is this project reached substantial completion, but it is a winner of the Pacific Northwest CMAA 2020 Project of the Year Award. It is also a winner of the National CMAA 2020 Project Achievement Transportation Project greater than 50 million. Special thanks to HJH for designing this job, Atkinson for constructing it. Just a great effort. It was a challenging job, but the project team stayed focused on the project first, worked through the issues, and as a result, we got a great outcome. So very proud of this combined team. All right, moving beyond downtown Bellevue, you can see our downtown Bellevue station as we're looking across I-405. And then this is looking back towards downtown Bellevue. They've got a long span over I-405. You can see the trackway coming up out of the ground. Then we have a nice long gradual horizontal curve elevated guideway going into the Wilburton station, which is elevated. And then that transitions down to at grade, as you can see in the right slide. And then we go into the 120th Street station, as you can see here. We move beyond that over into the E340 Cooney contract. They have the 130th at grade station that you can see there. Big milestones on this one is almost all of our sidewalk and roadways are restored on this job. It's at grade, a little more economical to construct, but logistically challenging, keeping all the businesses open and satisfied along the construction zone. So good job on Cooney getting us to this point. Finally, moving on to the E360 Overlake Village Station. This is our design build contract on the far end of Eastlink. You can see our pedestrian bridge going over SR 520 there. This is our Overlake Village Station. And last but not least, our final station on Eastlink is the Redmond Technology Station that you can see here. Okay, So now moving up north, Linwood Link extension. We have 3 different contracts going up there. Southern contract is Stacy Woodbeck Kiewit. Northern contract is Skanska, and then a systems contract overlaying the whole thing, which is Mass Electric. This project 24% complete. If you've driven up I-5, it looks very impressive. Right now, a lot of superstructure going up on the south lot, drilled shafts going well on the north lot. We have achieved a fairly small milestone, but it's significant, and that is setting the girders between Northgate Station and the first pier of Linwood Link. So we've actually connected Linwood Link to the Northgate Station. That was a nice milestone to achieve. L200 southern lot, definitely out of the ground. All drilled shafts are done. Many columns are done. Girders are going up on that job. A lot of earthwork on that job too. If you drive up through there, the amount of earthwork and retaining walls is significant. In a constrained work zone, of course, sandwiched between the freeway and the neighborhoods. L300 Skanska job, shafts are about 90% complete, and we're almost out of the ground on that job. I mean, I really like underground work. I think it's a lot of fun, but at the same time, you know, it's always fun to be out of the ground too. One of our more interesting pieces of work is we're building a temporary trestle across a swamp or a wetland going up to the final station at the Linwood Transit Center. You can see some of the temporary trestle work being constructed there. And in the interest of time, I'll just show you the overview here. So Skanska is using some drone technology to document their work zone. This is a Bridgel panorama shot. They have several other of these throughout the alignment where you can basically track an as-built and overlay the construction with the design from a drone point of view. Very interesting technology to use, and I think a lot of projects are starting to go this way, using drones. Also on Linwood Link, we are preserving the ability to add an infill station in Northeast 130th Street. The substructure was modified to accommodate this. We're about 16% complete on the construction of that, 60% complete on the design. And we're not sure exactly how we might contract this out. We might, you know, add it to the job. We might go out and do a competitive procurement for this infill station as well. So there's a potential opportunity there. Federal Way Link. This is our largest contract by far. It's a $1.4 billion design build contract. The overall budget that you see there incorporates many different phases beyond just the construction. Open for revenue service December 2024, 70% complete on design, 15% complete on construction. A lot of interesting work going on in the Midway landfill right now. We'll keep on with my trend of showing all the stations. Obviously, this station has a long ways to go. This is the Kent Des Moines station near 236 and SRI 9. I'm going to have to correct that. That's State Route 99. This is a look at the Federal Way Transit Center station. Obviously, it's been cleared. A lot of work to do there. You can see the existing bus loop on the far right-hand side that the station will integrate with. Here's an aerial shot of the at-grade work going to clear out some of the trash in the Midway landfill, do ground improvements through there. Extensive work. There's a lot of garbage to remove. Some of that is on SPU Midway landfill side. Some of it is on WashDOT side. Haven't had a chance to ask Bill Grady of KLB if he's found anything interesting in there yet, but I'll have to catch up to him and see if there's any treasures that have been unearthed in there. All right, so moving on to downtown Redmond Link extension. This takes off at the end of East Link, beyond the Keywood job, the design build job that we highlighted at the end of the line. So downtown Redmond Link extension is a separate alignment. It's an extension of that. Design build, we are on schedule for revenue service by December 2024, 14% complete. Most of that is design at this point. We've just now really started to open up the ground on that job right in time for winter, of course. So erosion control is going to be key. A lot of sensitive areas around that area. Okay, so that's what we have going right now. A lot of work, a lot of momentum. I'd like to just take a moment to highlight that all of our ongoing construction, fully funded, fully dedicated to completing them. There's no cash flow issues. We have had an economic downturn, of course. We all know that. And I'll get into some of the details on that here in a bit, but it is not affecting any of our ongoing construction work. So now I'd like to run you through a quick status on our future construction. Now keep in mind the schedules that you're going to see here are pre-COVID-19, all right? So these schedules are likely to change, but it's too early for me to say exactly which schedules may change. Just suffice it to say that at least some, if not all of them, will get revised through a process through the Sound Transit Board that I'll go into at the end of the presentation. First off, Sounder Maintenance Base. This project we had procured a DBPM for, a management firm. We were slated to go out to RFP and NTP later this year. It is currently on hold. Basically waiting for the Sound Transit Board to make a decision as to whether this is a project that's going to continue to go forward on the same timeline. Our Sounder parking and access improvements, we have 4 of those: Puyallup, Sumner, Auburn, and Kent. Puyallup, as we mentioned, is already under construction. The schedule for Sumner, Auburn, Kent is also up for further consideration. Bus Rapid Transit, or STRIDE, ST-RIDE, 45-mile corridor going from Burien all the way up to Linwood with a spur route from Bothell over to Shoreline. 24 BRT station pairs, 12 cities, 6 new expanded parking facilities. Many of those would be parking garages and a transit center and a maintenance base. This was slated to be open in 2024. We always knew that was going to be a very difficult mark to hit. This project, of course, the schedule for this is under consideration through the reassessment process. Tacoma Dome Link Extension. This was scheduled to be opened in 2030, 9.7 new miles of light rail going from the end of the new Federal Way extension, which is under construction, all the way down to the Tacoma Dome area. 4 new stations, 2 parking garages. Groundbreaking scheduled for 2025. Has an OMF facility associated with it, scheduled for 2026. Whole thing's supposed to be open in 2030. Preliminary estimate range $2.7 to $3 billion in construction work. And the OMF South preliminary estimates have been 800 million to 1.4 billion, but of course those are still going through VEs and contracting methodology studies. So those numbers will be updated after more studies have been completed. Here's a shot of just a few of the different alternatives for Tacoma Dome Link extension. There's a few decision points that still have to be made as to which alignments will be used, but we do have a preferred alternative through much of the alignment. This project will feature the Puyallup River Bridge. We're currently planning a 560-foot balanced cantilever concrete cast-in-place clear span. Very challenging piece of work. We do have an option for in-water piers. Not sure exactly which way that'll end up yet at this point. All stations along Tacoma Dome Link are elevated. Still have 3 options on the table for the OMF South, Midway Landfill and I-5, South 336th Street and I-5, and South 334th Street and I-5. So just a summary of the timeline here. We're still in the planning phase, final planning phase. Current schedule, start of revenue service 2030, subject to change. West Seattle Ballard Link extension, over 10 miles of new alignment, 13 new or expanded stations, $6.8 billion across all phases. This will be delivered in separate timelines. West Seattle scheduled to open in 2030, about 5 miles of new alignment there, 5 stations. Ballard, 5 years later, in opening in 2035, 5.4 miles, 5 new stations. And of course, along with that would be our new downtown light rail tunnel, also opening in 2035, just under 2 miles long. Several new underground stations associated with that. We are still looking at several different tunnel types for downtown. We're looking at a single bore. We're looking at twin bore, variations of different types of single bore, excavated caverns underground, mined through stations, doing some contracting packaging workshops beginning of next year. So this will start, the whole Ballard West Seattle procurement will start to flush itself out probably by middle of next year. We'll have a pretty good idea how we intend to deliver these. Once again, project timeline, we're still in the planning phase here. West Seattle opens 2030, Ballard's opens 2035, subject to change. Currently refining preferred alternatives. All right, Everett Link extension, 16.3 miles, scheduled to open in 2036. And this is still in the planning phase as well. And CM is just starting to get involved with constructability efforts with the planning team on this job. 2039, we're scheduled for additional Tacoma Link extensions down to Tacoma Community College. And last but not least, we have the South Kirkland-Issaquah Link line opening in 2041. Separate alignment from Issaquah to downtown Kirkland, 12 miles. Design scheduled to begin 2022, complete 2025. Construction, actually, you know, I think the dates on this one aren't quite accurate, so we'll probably have to update those because it's scheduled to open in 2041. Once again, subject to change. So once we're all done, 160-mile regional system, 83 stations, fully functional BRT system, expanded Sounder commuter rail for additional 40% capacity. Okay, so we all know that Sound Transit is undergoing a capital program realignment process. We did hear a presentation from our Chief Financial Officer, Tracy Butler, at our Finance and Audit Committee last week. Her presentation is available on our Sound Transit website under our board meetings. You can go there and you can click a link and you can actually see her presentation in detail. So I won't run through a lot of the numbers here. There was some good news this last week at the audit committee meeting, and that is our forecast for revenue loss in 2020 to 2021 is now less than half of what we originally projected, falling from an estimated 912 million shortfall to only a $300 to $400 million shortfall. However, the long-term projection for 2020 to 2041 is now a pretty wide range of $6 to $12 billion shortfall with considerable uncertainty. It's hard to say exactly what the economy will do. We're projecting a moderate recession or a severe recession, and we'll be able to provide options for both of those by the time the Sound Transit needs to make a decision as to their capital program realignment in the middle of next year. Let's see. So the tools that the board will use to manage affordability might have to delay some project completions on the projects that have not yet started. Might need to modify some project scope. We might need to secure some new funding. Of course, the near-term priorities are flexibility and maintaining readiness for a future that's not entirely certain. I already mentioned we're maintaining all of our existing construction work full speed ahead. We want to maintain ourselves in a state of readiness for our jobs that are in planning and design so that we can adapt to variable revenue and grant scenarios as things progress over the next year or two. And of course, we want to avoid over commitments until the board priorities become clearer. The board, of course, will be using a variety of criteria for reevaluating project delivery timelines, ridership potential, equity, connections, funding, completion of the spine. You know, are parts of this able to be logically advanced beyond the spine and in more of a piece by piece approach rather than a all-in approach for various alignments. So we've already started, you know, the board has started various discussions based on information from ST staff. The board is scheduled to make a comprehensive program realignment decision by July of next year. A lot of work to do between now and then, of course, so that the board has all the best information and the best options that Sound Transit staff can generate for their consideration. Stakeholder engagement will be key, of course, through the process. And of course, even though we don't have a lot of contracting opportunities out there right now in the major capital program, we always have a lot of small works contracts going out, a lot of vendor contracts going out as well. We have a robust non-corridor program going to keep our existing system in a state of good repair. So a lot of smaller jobs associated with that work. You can keep abreast of the opportunities at our vendor portal. You can see here to make sure you're not missing out on any opportunities to come and help us out in the work we need to do. So our key takeaways here today, you know, we've made a lot of progress. We're making a lot of progress still. A lot of that is due to the hard work of our contracting partners. You know, we can't do it without our contractors. Yeah, we appreciate all the efforts you bring to the table. We appreciate your adherence to the values that we hold ourselves to, countering new challenges every day. It's been a very challenging year, and we're only another 2 months to get 2.5 months to go. So hopefully 2020 will be a little more predictable. We just appreciate everyone's willingness to continue to work together for successful outcomes. So that is the conclusion of my presentation here today. And I don't know, Sonia, if we had time for any questions, I'd be happy to take some.
Sure, we can open it up for some questions if there are any.
I have a question.
Sherry Harris.
Yes, I was wondering, the station at Northeast 130th Street, is that actually funded? I know it's not to be built, it's not planned to be built right now, but it is funded, yes?
I believe the funding for 130th Station is in play, but I would have to verify that for sure. You know, we did have the funding, of course, to modify the substructure to be sure to be able to accommodate the future station. I can't say 100% certainty that may not be also in the reconsideration phase. Good, it's a good question. I can find out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill, I think you're next.
Hi, Matt. I was just curious, you know, with the flux in ridership and more people working from home, do you think it's possible any of these planned stations are just going to be flat out canceled, or and parking garages related to that, or you think they may just get postponed to maybe more future work further down the line?
Well, I can't predict exactly what the ST board will decide in the middle of next year. Clearly, ridership projections will be part of the conversation. I think that assignments that are strictly commuter based, we probably need to reassess those, maybe even a little more stringently than the modes that have multiple purpose, like Link and the BRT. Clearly, when the public voted on ST3, we made a commitment to deliver a defined scope of work, including alignments and stations. It would be our goal, of course, to deliver 100% of what the public has asked us to do. If anything, I would say it's more likely for some of that to be delayed in time than to be downscoped. But we will see what the Sound Transit Board decides.
Great, thank you. Ryan Clayton.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, Matt, thank you very much for taking the time to go through that great overview. Just a couple of questions, really one and the same. Have you determined your delivery methods yet on your Tacoma Dome extension, the West Seattle Ballard Link, and the Everett Link? Have you guys thought about that and determined the delivery methods there?
We have not determined the delivery methods for sure. We did go through a contracting methodology workshop on Tacoma Dome Link extension, but that has not been finalized yet. We had been looking at design build for that job. However, schedule played a major factor in that decision. If schedule now has more flexibility on that alignment, it affords us an opportunity to relook at the priorities for the contract delivery options and even the packaging options. Instead of like one big job or two big jobs, and we might break it up into more discrete contracts and maybe deliver it in a phased approach. Similar for West Seattle to Ballard, we have not started our contracting methodology decisions there yet, but we do have a series of workshops that we're planning in January of next year. More towards the West Seattle piece, because of course that piece needs to be delivered first. But we will be looking at the rest of it as well. So the preliminary decisions on how we might package that and whether we would be using design build or GCCM or bid build, we'll have a much better position and information on that probably by middle of next year.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I don't see any more questions. Thank you very much, Matt. That was an excellent presentation, very robust. It's nice also to see Sound Transit getting some recognition for the projects and the contractors who are helping out with that too. So that was really nice to see. I just want to give a few announcements before we adjourn. This week, of course, you all should know we are in our Build Washington Awards Week. Every day at 1 o'clock, we will have a short presentation to announce the winners. Yesterday's announcements, I think, took about 6 minutes, and honestly, it was very fun and entertaining to watch. We have John Curley doing the emceeing of that. We will culminate in Friday's announcements, ending with the 20 excellence. So please tune in. You can register on our website. The link there is a place to register for all these events. On Wednesday this week, we have Navigating Federal Contracts, a collaboration with Olds Morrison, PNDC, and PTAC. This is a nationally recognized practitioners will join us. They'll cover topics relevant to government contracts across industries, featuring presentations on compensation for COVID delays and impacts, federal contracting year in review, and new 8A and mentor protege program rules. This Thursday, we have AGC sponsored Rise Up Diversity and Inclusion Training. If you have been considering diversity inclusion training for your team, this is an excellent way to get started and check it out. Rise Up is endorsed by AGC's Culture of Care Steering Committee and is an affordable way to get your team trained at just $20 per person. There are sessions at 10 o'clock and 1 p.m., 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. this Thursday, and participants will receive a certificate of completion for attending. October 26th, in partnership with the Construction Center of Excellence and Cascade Centers, AGC of Washington is proud to co-host a 1-hour online event, Healthy Coping and Personal Resilience. This free webinar will address how to lead through adversity, where to find resources, and how to advocate for your employees. As we know, election season is upon us, and AGC is offering 2 timely events. One, October 27th, join AGC's HR Committee for Politics in the Workplace, represented by Darren Feder, shareholder with Cebris Busto James, and the head of the law firm's litigation group. This session will help you minimize the disruption of political speech in the workplace, while also focusing on relevant laws. All registered have an opportunity to submit their questions before each session. And October 4th, you can join us with our own AGC of Washington Chief Lobbyist Jerry Vanderwood the morning after the election night to recap initial results and shed insight on what this may hold for you, your company, and our industry going forward. And lastly, our next Seattle District membership meeting will be November 17th with the Port of Seattle annual update, and we all hope you can join us for that. And with that, we will adjourn for this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time. Thank you, Matt.